Power Rangers, one of the longest running series of all time, so you've probably heard about it at some point, so I won't bore you with the details of the show, and we'll just get right into ranking each series of Power Rangers. Actually, before we start the rankings, I just want to say, huge spoiler warning. I just kind of ramble on about different things that happen on in the show without much warning, and I don't go into too much depth about some of the different points. I just say things that happen in the show as whether it's a positive or negative, and don't really say why. It's just this is more for people who have seen the show, or at the very least people who don't care about spoilers or anything like that. So enjoy. Okay, so we got the tier list here, and I actually had to make this tier list myself. There wasn't a good Power Rangers tier list out there. Each tier list kept separating the seasons or separating the super seasons, but this is just each series of Power Rangers in their entirety, and we're gonna rank them. Now, also when making this tier list, I saw that Kamen Rider had its own category, but Power Rangers didn't. I don't know how that makes any sense, but that's fine. Anyways, alright, so the first one we're gonna rank is Mighty Morphin, which is one of the more difficult ones to rank. It's the first one, so it's important, and it holds a lot of nostalgia. It's the most referenced, the most redone, most recreated series of them all. Most series that has the most homage paid to it, but it's not quite S. I'm gonna put it in A because it's still such an important series, and the Green with Evil arc is probably still the best Power Rangers arc there ever was. So I'm gonna put it in A, but it's a little more goofy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It does it well as compared to some other seasons that try to be goofy, and it just comes across as too much. But Power Rangers Mighty Morphin does a good balance of being goofy and but still being enjoyable. But it's not as well written and as serialized as maybe some of the other seasons later on. So I'm just gonna put it in A. Zeo. Man, what do I put Zeo? I'm gonna put Zeo in. I'm gonna put it in B. It's a good season. I mean, it's a good season. It's a really good season. Jason comes back, people put Tommy as the GOAT Ranger. I think Jason's right there, but so he comes back, which is amazing. Billy leaves, sad, for poor off the screen reasons, but it's a good season, but it still has that same kind of vibe as Mighty Morphin, but without the benefit of being the first. Turbo almost killed the franchise. I mean, this season, it's tough. It's tough to watch. I'm making a video about all the premieres, and just having to watch the episodes I did of Turbo for that it's whatever. I mean, we all know about Justin. Justin being one of the most hated Power Rangers characters, with reason. But it's a terrible season. Now, this almost killed the franchise. The next season afterwards completely saved the franchise. If you could see by my shirt, got a Showing It Love right now. I love fandom combo shirts. This one being a Power Rangers and Star Wars combo. But In Space has one of the best villains in Astronema. It's the first one to do some real family relationships in the show with Astronema and Andros, the Red Ranger, which are done beautifully. It's just a good season. It's from start to finish, especially the starts and the finish of the season, are top tier, so it's S. And then Power Rangers follows it up with another S tier season. In Space, Power Rangers, I guess it thrives in the space scenery, the space theme. Lost Galaxy going more. I mean, both seasons were real Star Trek. We're more Star Trek than even Star Wars, but Lost Galaxy was great. Leo is one of the best Red Rangers. Him not being worthy, or not feeling worthy of, because he didn't pull the sword out himself, and his brother sacrificed himself for him. That weight carrying on his shoulders is one of the best storylines throughout a Power Ranger show. Next up is Lightspeed Rescue. This one, so I guess just to say this now, I've seen all but some of these, and I'll get to those when I do. And I've seen Lightspeed Rescue, but it's been so long And it's been a while for some of these, so some of there's a little bit of rust there. But Lightspeed Rescue, I just remember the Titanium Ranger being one of the. Whenever Power Rangers does evil Power Rangers, I'm trying to think when it's not gone well. Like, it consistently goes well when they do evil Power Rangers, even if they always come back on the good side. But him as Ryan as the Titanium Ranger. They do some father-daughter, father-son concepts in Lightspeed Rescue, which father figures in Power Rangers are always used properly and are great for the story. Mothers, not as much, but fathers, and this one is, I think, the first one to do anything with a father. And anyway, it does it pretty well. I'm going to say it's a really good season. But is it A tier? Carter is, in terms of just pure leadership, one of the, maybe the best in terms of pure leadership, but is one of the best Red Rangers. I'm going to put it B, though. Because even though it's been a while for some of these seasons, and this one's not sticking out in my memory as much as some of the others. So I'm going to put it in B, which is a good tier. Like, B is... I would happily rewatch either of those shows. It's good. Time Force is an S. Anybody who thinks that they couldn't do a female Red Ranger has to watch Time Force and watch Jen. She alone proves that it could be done, even though she was the Pink Ranger. But her being the leader is essentially, at least to start the season, like a Red Ranger. But that's great. She's a great character. Wes, again, an all-time great Red. I mean, these early seasons apparently did their thing with the Red Ranger. But Wes and Jen's relationship, Wes and his father's relationship, Ransik is being a great villain at the very end, turning himself in instead of like some monster fight like the end of every other season was pretty unique. I don't think any other villains turn themselves in. At least a main villain like that has turned themselves in to end the series. So that one, it's an S. It's an S. Wild Force. I'm going to say it's a B. I'm going to say it's B. I'm going to say it's on par with these ones. It's pretty good. Cole's a good Red. I'm always going to talk about the Red Ranger in each of these series. If you watch Power Rangers, you understand why. They're the closest thing we ever get to main characters in any season, usually. And, I mean, they're the leader of the team, so it's important for them to be the best character. And usually they are, but, sometimes they're not. We'll get into that later. But no, Cole's a good character. And the show is pretty good. I love the Zords. I mean, we'll get it. No, but Power Rangers have got some good aesthetics throughout the show, and I'll get into my favorites later, but Wild Force is definitely a really nice one. So I'm just going to put it in a nice solid B. Ninja Storm. Am I going to be putting everything in B? I might come back to some of these and rethink it, but Ninja Storm is the most laid-back season of Power Rangers. It's the closest thing we have to like a pure comedy. Like I said, closest thing. It's not quite that, but it's goofy in like a really, really fun way. We'll get into the Nickelodeon era where the goofy is just not that entertaining, but the goofiness in Ninja Storm really works. This is also the first season that starts off with 3 Rangers, which I think I'm doing a video about the premieres of Power Rangers and how shows start off, and I think 3 might be the key to starting off a season. I'm not sure. I'm still writing the script for that video, but it does it pretty well. I'm gonna put it in B for now. I'm getting a little scared about B being filled up and me defaulting everything into B. Dino Thunder. Oh. Dino Thunder has some of the best characters in Power Rangers. You get Tommy Oliver back, the GOAT. Connor goes through some of the most change throughout the show, being a little sexist to start the show, but really growing as a character and as a Red Ranger. Ethan being the nerdy guy, but they don't stereotype him as much as being like a weirdo. Like, he's just a little nerdy, and that's fine. Kira being like the alt girl musician, definitely had a crush on her. It's just such a good season. And aesthetics-wise, this is my favorite one. I'm collecting the Power Rangers like toys right now, which you can kind of see over here. The first release of Mighty Morphin and Dino Thunder, the only seasons I have fully complete right now, because the aesthetic of Dino Thunder is so nice. From the suits, their Super Dino mode, the Zords, everything. So oh my gosh, Mesogog is one of the better villains with his Jekyll and Hyde thing. Trent White Ranger. Is it quite S tier, though? Oh, is it S tier, though? I'm looking at my S tier right now, and if family connections are apparently what makes you S tier, because it's like brother, sister, brothers, that sacrifice and the weight of that carrying on, being with that, and then Wes and his father. Man, do you need a family connection in the show to make S tier? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna put it S tier. It's so good. It's good. This was, I think that might have been I think Dino Thunder was the start of it all for me, so I gotta put it S tier. Trenton, his dad. Trenton, his dad. I'm editing this video right now. It's later at night. Obviously, you can tell by the lighting. Trenton, his dad. I said it. I was talking about it not having the family connection, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, it has one of the better ones. What am I talking about? It's got one of the more unique ones, like a more complicated one, with his dad being the villain. And I wasn't thinking about it, man. Oops. Anyways, back to the video. It's S. Thank God I put it there. It's S. SPD. Am I about to start overpopulating the S tier now? I might have to look at this one when we're done. SPD. They have one of the best mentors in Cougar. Sky is the Blue Ranger. Again, another character that goes through a lot of change. He had some of the better storylines in it, obviously, with his dad being the Red Ranger and feeling that pressure and wanting to live up to that. And his dad's sacrifice. Oh my God. Sky has a lot of great storylines. Jack is a good Red Ranger. I think I'm going to put it A. They definitely like their Omega Ranger was whatever. I mean, he's a ball of light when we see him. Anyways, so I'm going to put it A. Mystic Force. Again, talking about aesthetics, this one is a beautiful season in terms of their suits and their Zords, which are just them grown, like massive, but it looks so cool. Again, family connections, whoa, but it's not S tier. It's not. Nick, I loved Nick growing up, and then I was watching it again recently, and I didn't quite like him as much as I did when I was a kid. Fucking Xander, though. I love Xander. Plan Xander. Power Rangers is supposed to be teaching kids lessons, and Plan Xander of reasoning with the enemy, trying to have a conversation with them, is a fun concept, and it was underutilized in the show, but it was still there, which was fun. But I'm going to put it A. I think Nick might be what holds it back. Uh-oh. Operation Overdrive. So I'm going to get into this more when I talk about the premieres, but it has a pretty good premiere. Like, it sets up a lot, but it doesn't quite deliver consistently on everything. The twist of Mac being an android was great. Oh, shit, I need to put a spoiler warning in front of this, don't I? But anyway, it has such cool themes. The villains being split like tribes. I don't know what else to call them. Split teams, split tribes, or whatever. It has one of the greater crossovers with Once a Ranger, with like usually Power Rangers crosses over two teams, like the team that it is now, and then the previous season's team joining together. Once a Ranger didn't do that. It was a couple Rangers from different seasons coming in to help out. So it has one of the cooler crossovers. Mac being an android, a great reveal. This like Indiana Jones. It goes for like an Indiana Jones style vibe. It has so many great ideas and concepts, but we don't give a shit about the characters. Like, we really don't. Like, if you watch it, you're like, I don't really care about the characters. And that is such an important thing. It holds it back so much. I won't quite put it D. I'll put it C. It's probably a little overhated because it's talked about along the lines of, like, Turbo, and I'll get into some of the later seasons. It's not that bad, but it definitely disappoints considering how grand the possibilities are with the concepts the show tries to do. Jungle Fury. Holy shit, is this an S tier? I always go back and forth between this and another one that we're about to get into, spoiler, as my favorite one. Jungle Fury, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. RJ, one of the best mentors. And a Purple Ranger, my favorite color. There's only like 2 or 3 Purple Rangers throughout the shows. So he's great. His unorthodox like teaching style could have been done bad, but he's casted so well. The guy who plays RJ brings like the perfect energy for that zany teacher role. And then Casey as the Red Ranger, being the newbie, having to learn and catch up, but still being the leader of the team, worked so well. And his learning almost mirrors Jared slash Daishi on the other side and what's going on with him and his conflicts, which eventually Jared breaks free from Daishi. It's, oh my god, it's so good. I'm not going to explain the show. I'm just trying to rank them and say why they're good. But Jungle Fury, S tier. Since I kind of already alluded to it, usually I land on RPM being the best season. It's the most serious. It's like it understands its Power Rangers and it makes jokes about kind of Power Ranger tropes. So it's not like overly dark, but it is the most serious Power Ranger series. If you have to show somebody Power Rangers and you're like, they need to see a good show first. They need to see a good show first to get any interest in Power Rangers. RPM has to be the one you show them. It just does. The actors are great. Ziggy, usually overly joking and like goofy Power Rangers, like they're really hit or miss. Ziggy hits. He's really the heart of the team. He's so funny. Dylan being a cyborg with missing memories and then finding out one of the villains is his sister, who, oh my god. And then Dr. K, that season's mentor being the reason the villain was created, was a great twist. RPM, it's S tier. And what pisses me off, it goes from RPM, right? Possibly the greatest season of Power Rangers ever, to the absolute worst one. This one, it's so bad. It's so bad. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't finished it. And don't get mad at me for not having finished it, not seeing it all the way through, and ranking it as low as it is. Because it's terrible. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to watch through it. I saw when I was a kid, right? I'm a kid. I don't even have that developed of taste. I must be like 10 when it comes out. I see the first episode, which they premiere out of order. They start on the third episode and then continue on and eventually release like the first 2 episodes. But I see the first one, I'm like, well, this sucks. I'm a 10-year-old and I can say that this sucks. And I didn't watch it. And I just watched the first like 2 episodes for my video coming up. It's bad. It's really bad. The acting is terrible, and I don't want to blame the actors because I bet that script looked god-awful. But just the way that they're delivering the lines is so robotic. The sensei for the show is like supposed to be for the whole team, but he just strokes Jaden off, who is like in that show treated as Jesus himself those first couple episodes. Maybe the whole show. I don't know. But he does no wrong. So that's bad. And then Power Rangers, I think we know why they got sold, because it went from this bad to this bad, and a lot of people consider Megaforce the worst season, which I guess, understandable. I didn't see all of Samurai, I refused to, but I did push through all of Megaforce. I don't even know how to describe Megaforce. It tries to do the kids in high school thing, and I don't know, it's just boring. Like, bland acting most of the time. It's pretty boring. Who gives a shit about Robo Knight or whatever they call him? And they have the legendary battle. They hype up this legendary battle that, I don't know, storyline-wise really had no... I don't know, like, it just looked like fan service and eye candy. Like, it didn't bring anything of substance to the show. Anyways, Dino Charge. Dino Charge picked it up. Okay, Samurai Megaforce, terrible. Dino Charge was like, okay, we're not gonna be great, but we're gonna be good. You know, we're gonna stop this decline, and it's, you know, it's weird. It's like, it's not. I don't want to put it B with these shows, but it's definitely better than Overdrive, so I don't want to put it in C. I'll put it B. It's good. It's a good season, and it was really needed. So these last 3, I'm gonna put them all in unwatched. I haven't finished any of them. I know, fake fan. My bad. I'm working through them, but I'll just talk about what I've seen so far. Beast Morphers and Dino Fury, I think I got halfway through them. Pretty good from what I've seen so far. Like, we're talking like Beast Morphers could. from what I've seen, I'd probably put it A. Like, it's pretty good. Devin and his father. Uh-oh. Am I a sucker for family relationships? I think I am. But it's really good. I mean, it's A tier from what I've seen. Again, I'm not going to actually rank it because I haven't finished it, and that would be unfair. But it's a pretty good season. I know about the twist with this season's villain being the same one from RPM. That's a great twist, and it was kind of theorized even from before the show even premiered. But that's great. I mean, the three Rangers that start the season off, like they're all pretty. They all have their own interesting quirks to them. But Devin looks like he's a really good Red Ranger from the way the show started. So that one, and then Dino Fury, probably would be B. Ollie was probably my favorite character from what I'd seen so far, the Blue Ranger. Zato, so they do the stoic type, which fucking failed for Megaforce and Samurai, where their Red Ranger is like kind of like a serious, like stoic individual, but it works for Dino Fury. It just does. Like, I can't even properly articulate why. I mean, him being an alien, fish out of water, it works pretty well. But no, it's a pretty good season. The Zords look great. But no, it's the first season with any LGBT representation, which is good. I mean, it's come a long way from what they did to Billy back in the day. So that was great. But like I said, I haven't finished it, so I don't want to rank it. But pretty good. Like I said, I'd probably put this one, from what I've seen, A, and this one B. And this one I'm watching through it right now, and I just started because I watched the premieres for each one. So I started with Ninja Steel, and I don't know. I remember when I first saw it hating it, but when I saw it again, I was like, this seems pretty good.